Welcome to the CouRage Nadeshot Show. Ladies and gentlemen, to our knowledge, this is probably going to be the last episode of 2022. Now, I do want to jump into the topic that a lot of people have been bringing up to me in my stream or on social media. Where have the episodes been? Why have you not been consistently uploading the CouRage Nadeshot Show? I'm going to speak my piece on it. Jack can too. And then we'll start the rest of the podcast. So the entire year, there has just been a million different things happening. Like, we announced Project X. High Ground's been scaling up. We launched an energy drink. We've made changes to our esports organization and the players that compete for us. We've got new apparel drops. We did 3 in the last 40 days. New creators, new opportunities, new moments. So the honest answer is that we've just been incredibly busy. In some months, my time gets torn away from actually doing content. I think a lot of people would probably recognize or notice that I haven't been in a ton of content on the 100 Thieves YouTube channel. At the beginning of the year, I was, but we just got burnt out with trying to make something of it. You know what I mean? We just been trying to scale in a lot of different directions. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to stay within ourselves and grasp onto what made us successful in the first place. So I actually do want to apologize for the lack of episodes. I know you've been ready to go, but even sometimes too with our scheduling, it doesn't really shake out well. So that's the God's honest truth. We're hoping to pick this back up in 2023 with some better pace, better cadence. Yeah. Because I'll speak for Jack, but I think we both genuinely really enjoyed doing the show when we have the right guests on. But there have been times where we're under the gun. We got to film episodes for the sake of filming them. Yeah. And we've had incredible guests, but I think we just wanted to be a little bit more thoughtful. We were very busy, but 2023, we're hoping to turn that around.
We're just going to enjoy being CouRage and Nadeshot on a podcast. That's my goal for next year. And when we want to have people on, let's do it. When not, let's just enjoy it, have each other. And I do want to mention too, off the start, where you mentioned how busy everything's been with 100 Thieves. You also didn't mention the fact that you've got life outside of that too, of having a personal life, having 2 dogs, having a fiance. Yeah. Moving into your own house. Yeah. And on the other hand, Matt's, very busy, but as am I too. So
100%.
It's not just, I don't want anyone out there to be like, oh, Matt's, so you're telling me Matt's busyness is the reason? No, it's both of us. We both had a lot going on, but I think it's a major priority for me going into 2023. I love doing the podcast, and I think a big goal would be just to, make the show more of just what we want to do and what we find interesting, and make it just about us two chilling.
I feel like that. I feel like that Amaranth episode that we just recorded as well just got me inspired. You know what I mean? Like, that episode was so much fun, and I know not every episode will be that unfiltered, but I just think, in the same way that I describe High Ground as a sleeping giant, where I just know it's destined for success, we do have a really good thing. I mean, we filmed over 80 episodes. The CouRage Nadeshot Show, we could definitely promote it more. Yeah. But even on its own, with a lack of consistency, I think still we have a dedicated community. Maybe not as big as it could be, but they're still ravenous for episodes. So
80 episodes that average probably 200,000 views an episode. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we've had some hits, we've had some misses, but overall, I'm really proud of what the show has become. Yeah, and I think this end of the year show is something that just makes a lot of sense.
And obviously, we want to hear your guys' thoughts, and us reading the comments is what sparks even bringing this up. Is share it down below what you guys want to see more of. Are you on board with more just Matt and I chatting episodes? Maybe we're right in the middle of the episode and we've got to spend a quick moment to thank our proud sponsor, Heineken 00. Zero alcohol with all the great Heineken flavor. 69 calories. It's light and refreshing. And because there's no alcohol in it, you can do it right in the middle of your day. For example, after this, I'm going to go play fetch with Kaya for 20 minutes, get my exercise in, and still feel light and limber as I do it.
It's really important, especially now that we're at the end of the year, that people understand partners are the reason why 100 Thieves exists today. It's the only reason why CouRage and Nadeshot Show is able to be filmed with all the incredible guests that we bring on. So I just want to say thank you to Heineken for taking care of us and co-signing this mission and adventure that we've all been on together throughout this last year. Appreciate you, Heineken. Go check out the 00 and drink responsibly if you go the other direction with an alcoholic Heineken. And be of age. Sound body, sound mind, responsibility. It's a good thing.
Thank you, Nadeshot.
Wisdom.
And now back to the rest of the episode. That's the best part. I look most forward now, especially to being able to catch up with you, because we don't live together. We don't get to spend as much time together as we once did, and yeah.
It was cool when I came over to the house. My partner John and I, we had a meeting with Jack earlier this week, and John left after like an hour and a half of like a really productive conversation. And yeah, I was just hitting balls in the simulator because I'm going to Vegas this weekend for the esports awards. Sheesh. And playing in a golf tournament. And the last time I played in this golf tournament, it was the worst day on a golf course I think I've ever had. So I really want some vindication. But me and Jack just sat there chopping it up. And you know, it's when you live together, you would be surprised. I feel like there's actually not a good constructive conversation around catching up because it's like, oh, we lived like I know what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
So that's actually been like a refreshing thing for me. When we do hang out, I feel like we've become closer because we're actually talking about what's actually going on in our life instead of just passing each other by in the hallway of the kitchen and saying, hey, have a good stream.
Yeah. Or you play with your belly button.
I do play with my belly button, but I think that's for a multitude of reasons.
Oh.
I've actually uncovered some truths this past year.
Interesting. Well, no, I do miss those moments, whether it's me and you being able to see each other in the house, but even more, yeah, I love how much substance there is now. Whenever we get together, it adds to my excitement of seeing you.
So I'm going to start just jumping on topics. Feel free to jump in, throw some questions at me. But
well, I have a question. I want to bring something up first.
Okay.
You mentioned the golf tournament, and this is what this sparked in my mind. Was that before you made it public you were doing lessons?
Yeah, I talked about it on stream for sure.
So is this before you did the lessons, or this is more recent than that, and it was just bad?
No, this was like 2 years ago. I started taking lessons about 3 months ago. I was playing really good golf. I was shooting in the low 80s, which is pretty good for me.
Yeah.
And I was doing it consistently. And I got spooked about taking golf lessons because I never had any growing up. Moved to LA. Started playing golf with Shibby, who reps a bunch of different talent that you guys would recognize, works at WME, one of my best friends, and we just started golfing a ton. So I took like maybe 4 or 5 lessons over the course of a few years, but it never stuck. Like I never stuck with it. And so 3 months ago, I'm like, all right, I'm playing really well. I need to start taking this serious and see if I can reach a new level that I've never reached before. And it was super motivating, had a blast, was getting better. Was going maybe like 2-3 times a week, like 6 a.m. Then I'd start work for the rest of the day. But then about 3 weeks ago, I actually injured my back. And I think it's because of the lessons. I remember
that.
So that's been a little deflating and disappointing just because I really wanted to come into this weekend just knowing that I'm dialed with all the confidence in the world. But I went to the range early this morning, and I feel pretty good. So either way, I'm excited.
Back's feeling healed?
No, it still hurts, but I think I'm going to have to do physical therapy from what my doctor was saying. It's like something with my scapula or I don't know what he said, but he's like, look, I don't think you're dying. We just need to get you in physical therapy and see if we can fix it from there. And if not, we'll take a look under the hood, but I don't think it's anything serious.
Well, I believe you're going to do great.
And you've been playing World of Warcraft a lot, right?
Sheesh, don't even get me started. We don't want to talk about that. I'll go on a rant forever.
Well, I thought you were conflicted because I saw somebody try to get you to download League again, and I know you go through your spurts with League like every couple months.
My biggest thing was I got sick. I got COVID, and I needed something to do while I wasn't going to stream. I didn't have the energy for that. It was literally, I tested positive the day the expansion went live. So I was like, Tim's playing it, Cloak's playing it, all my old buddies are playing it. I mean, it's a game that I've played on and off for 14 years. It's actually, in my opinion, it doesn't get talked about enough what that game is doing, is that World of Warcraft to a point, and we can move past this topic quick, but they are legitimately just re-releasing the game. Like, World of Warcraft has now been going on since 2004, and they've made World of Warcraft Classic 5 years ago, which was Classic WoW, the first, World of Warcraft before any expansions.
And I had a moment, right? But I feel like interest died out pretty quickly.
It went crazy because like everyone went back to it from the mainstream, but it's still Classic is wildly successful in the World of Warcraft community. That they've now released World of Warcraft Classic, then they went into Burning Crusade, then they've now in Wrath of the Lich King. They're literally just redoing the full cycle of World of Warcraft. That's how big that game has been in the history and still is today. Is that they just released a new expansion for modern game, but Classic is thriving, especially in what everyone's favorite expansion is, Wrath of the Lich King. That game's just crazy. I'll play it for the rest, for the rest of my life. I hope it never dies. And the friendship that is on that game when you're just chilling with the boys in Discord, it's the most at peace I feel like in life.
I think that's actually like a really compelling reason to play the game. I'm curious too, because we've talked about. I mean, I still owe you Game of War or God of War playthrough. I've truly, when you've brought it up and even brought the PlayStation 5 down to my room a couple months back, I really intended on doing it. I just couldn't find the time and was just sort of lazy about getting it all set up. But I genuinely want to play the game to satisfy your desire to watch me play it. But with World of Warcraft, I'm curious. I've always said I won't play it because I just know that I'll get addicted to it. But as a new player, how long do you think it would take me to get acclimated to the game to the point where I'm having fun? Or is it immediately? Is it a couple weeks?
You would just get it. You would enjoy it because we'd also be there to like help facilitate it. Yes, it's a bit overwhelming when there's so many buttons and so many things going on. But when you begin to like expand on the power of your character, collect certain things in the game, maybe it's mounts or just have opportunities of like a big pop-off moment with damage if you're playing a damage class, I think you'd get competitive a lot with yourself too. What's cool about the game is that it scales like infinitely from the things that you mainly do, from dungeon keys, which is called mythic pluses. So you can like compare how you performed versus where you got to, and you like find your group of 5 people you run with, and you guys know the ins and outs, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna make us go stealth. I'm gonna sneak us past this pack. You're gonna stun that guy. We're gonna go full DPS on this and just try to kill this boss as fast as possible. And you're trying to like min-max. So it's like, yes, you're facing the mobs and the AI in the game from like player versus environment, but the competition thrill is there because you have to beat it in a certain time limit, and your rewards you get for your gear to become more powerful are based off of the level you do it at and how fast you do it. So it's like I love watching myself perfect something. So now there's 8 new dungeons that just came out. On Tuesday, Mythic Plus is released, and the new raid, which is a whole nother thing that I'm going to talk about. But when you go and you get rewards for doing each dungeon at a plus 20, the thrill of like clearing it the first time at a plus 4, and then at a plus 8, and then at a plus 12, you're like, yo, this shit's addicting because you can see yourself improving, and that's what I love in games.
Oh man, I really wish I had more time because I would love to play this game, but I think it's got to be something that I compartmentalize for the next few years. And yeah, I don't know how it all shake out for me financially, but if there's a time that I can retire, like after I turn 40 years old, like that is my ultimate goal. I mean, I'll always still be working. I'll always still be a part of 100 Thieves, but to have that freedom,
you absolutely, and
I would sit here and get addicted to it.
And the other thing too is that like, because it's a character that I've played this rogue that I play for 12 years now, on and off. Like, I love the thrill of getting back in, seeing how the class feels. These are my, the boys that I'm gaming with, like Flego, Nick, Vega, and that whole friend group. Like, we're on there every night. Everyone's on there. It's just like a place to go there. I'm off stream. I'm just gaming for the love of gaming. And it just like, I think really helps keep me grounded mentally, where when there's so much noise always and so much I'm thinking and stressing about, I'm on WoW and I'm a fucking fisherman, dude. I just literally go and there's little fishing pods, and the game's music is just beautiful, and you can just like play some lo-fi in the background. You throw a stream up, like I'll put your stream on. I'll like when you're going for Nuke Challenge or Asmon's stream or Tim's stream, and you're just chilling there. It's just calm. No one's asking to do anything in real life. There's no expectation. I'm literally just fishing. And my bobber goes under the water, and I reel it back in, and I'm like, "Ooh, I just made 22 gold."
Oh, brother! I mean, you're speaking. I mean, I feel like you're scratching an itch that I just don't know exists. But I honestly, the last few months at 100 Thieves have been really tough, just because we've done so much, and I'm just getting pulled in small pieces in different directions, and haven't had enough time to actually feel like I'm making an impact on what we're doing with the business, because I'm just proving things, checking boxes, and by the time that it actually gets to my desk and they start talking to me about it, I can't even have an impact on it because the deadline's so close and everybody's just running on fumes, over the year. Like, it compounds your mental bandwidth. And I'm really excited for the entire company, all the employees, and myself personally to have this break. But I went to Napa, and then we went to Monterey, which, first world problem, like beautiful places to look at wedding venues. And that was something I wanted to do for Haley. Yeah. I'm not really big on parties or weddings. I've only been to 2 as like an adult. So I told her, I'm like, hey, I know you want to have like a beautiful wedding. She wanted to be a wedding planner in college. So I'm like, okay, I got to deliver on this. So we went toward the venues. That was the week that Call of Duty got released, right? And then we got back. Had an amazing time. It was one of the best trips we've ever been on. We played golf every day, She played. She's naturally talented. She loves it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But then we got home and we had to go straight to Chicago for my brother's wedding, right?
Yeah.
Then we got back. We were home for a week. We had to go home to Houston to see her family for Thanksgiving because we hadn't been able to go for the last 2.5 years. One, because of COVID, and then another reason, COVID. Haley got it right before we were supposed to go back, so I'm like, all right, we have to do this.
Yeah.
But to your point about World of Warcraft and being in your room with your boys on Discord, fishing and getting 22 gold, I was having a really tough time in Houston, and Haley could tell because I'm like, all right, we got all this shit piling up from 100 Thieves that needs my attention. But two, I just missed the first like 2.5 weeks of the Call of Duty release, even though I never had planned for it to be a part of like my everyday schedule. But now it is, and I love it. But I just couldn't tell why I was so stressed out. I couldn't tell why I was so short or angry. And then I realized it's because, man, I need to be at fucking home. I mean, I spent 24 years of my life locked away in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And when my door is locked with the blinds shut and I'm in front of my computer, I mean, it's as if all of the stress and anger or frustration just melts away.
Yeah.
So I totally relate.
No,
And I just love being at home.
Oh, and when you're on your schedule and you feel like you have some control. It's
We just got
fantastic
blinds in the
feeling.
living room a couple months back.
Yeah.
And Haley went OD on Christmas decorations. The place looks amazing.
Yeah.
I was in my stream room last week, and I walk out at like 11 o'clock, and Haley's like walking across the patio like Bigfoot. She looks at me with wide eyes. She's like, what are you doing?
Like Bigfoot.
It was like a Sasquatch sighting. Like she froze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Bigfoot would never freeze on camera. We still haven't seen his ass.
No, we haven't, no.
But I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, you're not supposed to come out. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I told you I was going to bring you lunch. Don't come out of your office. 8 hours later at like 8 o'clock, I come outside and the entire front of the house has lights on it now. Wreaths everywhere. And inside we got the Christmas tree. She's got decoration on everything. We got the fireplace lit.
Oh, that's great.
We closed the blinds, and it was almost as if like nothing in this world could ever affect like this vacuum that we have.
Yeah.
So it's been like the last couple weeks, especially with the decoration, the holiday cheer, it's been really peaceful.
Especially because your house is already such a homey feeling that you add that in one of your 587 Apple movies.
Yeah,
you're in a good spot right
Well, we've been watching a ton of shows. I came over and we were arguing because you guys said that you weren't putting up a Christmas tree, and then you said you had put up a Christmas tree, but it wasn't anything crazy like we did last year.
Yeah,
but it looked good in the house. Like it looks good.
Yeah, the Maddie, and I think part of it was from Brooke's stream that she did with the girls. I think like that group of girls all collaborated because Haley had stopped by for a bit too, and they just Christmasified the house a bit. Yeah, nothing too crazy. You know, it's tough when it's just like I know I leave the 13th of December. I don't come back until January 2nd. So
yeah,
like, I'm just not even going to be here for the big culmination of it. So
that makes sense.
We had the tree stuff. We did a bit of Christmas setup when I was home with my family for Thanksgiving. But the last thing I'll say on the being homebody and MMO discussion, because we're moving past it, is I care way less about World of Warcraft for you trying it. When Riot's MMO comes out, you're gonna have to. You just have to try it.
I'll play anything at this point that Riot makes.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to. Like that game could change the whole industry for a bit if it's done, the right way, and will be the talk of the town when it comes out. I mean, that's one that everyone should be eyeing.
What's the timeline for that? Have they announced any finer details?
There's been like talks, and I don't know the exact extent of like where they've gotten this information, but I've watched some Asmongold videos of people covering it, and apparently like the whole the universe of it and like the world is kind of like in a pretty well along state. Like,
yeah.
Like
was the fighting game being released first, or is the MMO?
No. The fighting game will absolutely.
How long have they been working on the MMO for?
I don't know how long publicly. I think it's been a known thing now for like 2 years.
Got it.
But I think when that got announced like that, I remember people mainly being like, "Oh, it's still like we're 5 to 7 years away." I mean, if they're gonna try to, when you're trying to go into the MMO space, in my opinion, you're like, when Riot goes in, if they're gonna go in, it's gonna be like, how do we take a large chunk of the people who've played World of Warcraft and play it, and finally take down the Titan? Because I mean, that game's been the Titan of this industry for 18 years. That whole genre.
Yeah, and at this point, I would never bet against Riot after what they did with Valorant, because
Oh yeah.
whether you're a critic or you still love CS:GO or Counter-Strike more than you do Valorant, you can't deny the game's success and the replayability. I mean, they seemingly covered all of their bases and then started building on top of that already foundational success.
And it's super interesting too, because by the time that their MMO releases, we're sitting here expecting Project L to come out, and I'm expecting, from the thing even got revealed this week, was a big week for it. They showed more gameplay and everything. You're expecting that game to come out and make a dent in the fighting genre. Valorant comes out and makes a big dent in, and now is trailblazing the FPS genre. By the time the MMO comes out, they're going to have, in the last few years of experience, entering and kind of potentially taking over some of the biggest genres in the world, that when the MMO comes out, they're going to apply what they learned of how to get into those games, what worked for them, what didn't, how they were able to get into those communities well, how they integrated, that I think they're going to have a lot of positive learnings that they can really apply for that success.
To me, I think Riot is really compelling to talk about, just because I'm sure there's experts in the financial markets and the macroeconomics of the publishing business that maybe I might not be privy to, but in my mind, after what they did with Arcane and the success that it had on Netflix, I was skeptical before I started it. I'm like, okay, I saw the trailer. I don't know about this animation style, but I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah. And I was truly blown away. I mean, the show was absolutely incredible. And with the success of Valorant, right, not only in North America, but globally, and it finally started picking up steam in like the PC bangs in Korea, which to me is like a good telltale sign if this game actually has more velocity.
Yeah.
But with the fighting game, World of Warcraft, and then continue to expand on their IP outside of the actual video games, I genuinely believe that Tencent, their parent co, is going to be the next Disney. I mean, there's just no denying their global reach. And now that they're really building out their own cinematic universe, I just think over the next 30 years, without having my mind in the weeds and seeing like their public or their quarterly reports on earnings and how they'll monetize the MMO or the fighting game and whatever comes next.
Yeah.
My knee-jerk reaction is never bet against Riot. And I would love to see if you put like $1 million into Tencent today.
Yeah.
What it would be in 20 plus years.
They just have such a good pulse too of a lot of it is like what's cool and what people want in this genre and this age group, and down to the collaborations they do via music, down to the art styles of everything. They just get like what people these days want.
Yeah.
And when they're making games for years out, it's like they see the trajectory, but years in the past, and then they begin developing, and this is here of where the gaming space is going, and they're down here, and it's just like, boom, on release, bright, colorful, open to anybody that could come in, and it kind of makes sense, but the playbook is there, and it works so well. And I'm sure, for us with Project X, we there's absolutely inspiration there that, I think every developer's got to look at what they do and it'd be like, they're crushing it.
100%, man. I mean, Project X has been a fun project for me to be a part of. I wish I could go into a hyperbolic time chamber like Dragon Ball Z and just spend an entire year working exclusively on Project X, because that's how much I enjoy being a part of the process. But I think in 2023, we're definitely going to like compartmentalize some time for me to try to do that. But even beyond Project X, I sort of want to talk about Fortnite, the new engine. But for me, because I know you've been playing it, I want to scratch the itch for you too. I feel like I haven't had an opportunity to talk about Warzone 2 besides with my stream. And we obviously had the viral clip of me talking about $1 billion. You know what I mean? And I think that depiction of my reaction, which is really, if you don't follow me or follow 100 Thieves, it's probably could be your first interaction with the brand and with myself. And I actually had a couple people come in to chat over the last couple weeks. First-time viewers, how you get the notification on Twitch. Like, hey, I saw your video, sticking it to the man, and I'm actually really enjoying the stream. So nice to meet you. And I'm like, all right, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Warzone 2 success is like deafening, right? Like, people will scream your failures, and that will be the only thing people will talk about. But I don't think people are recognizing the fact that Call of Duty came out with a pretty good sequel to Warzone 1. And as soon as they announced Warzone 2 some time ago, I was skeptical. I'm like, okay, God fucking damn it. We're just running the Call of Duty playbook back. We're going to like have this half-built product. We're going to rebrand it, say it's the sequel, and everybody's going to play it.
None
whatever.
of the skins carry over.
I thought it was going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I just don't think people are talking enough about how good Warzone 2 actually is. Now, I know there's problems. Like, the looting sucks. It needs to be better. The UI is awful. Yep. It's too cluttered. We got the Hulu people. I know that's the running joke. They need to improve the UI, but with how extensive and how much depth there is behind the menus, I don't even know how you clean that up. The crashes have subsided substantially since they pushed that update. I mean, I just got a new PC. I know everybody doesn't have, like, the ability to just go buy some new equipment, but I'm getting like 200 plus frames. The game is buttery smooth. And the toughest part from what I've seen, especially after Caldera, is nailing a map that large scale. It is really hard to make something that people will fall in love with. And I think Verdansk in Warzone 1 was actually like an accident. You know what I mean? Because Doc had played it early, in its early stages. He had sent me a text. He's like, this game is going to be like the worst AAA release we have ever seen. And I don't know if it was to that degree, but he's like, yeah, it's not good. So I was worried. But Warzone 1, I was super addicted to for 6 months. And now with Warzone 2, I actually think the map is better than Verdansk in almost every single way.
Yeah, I love the Warzone 2 map a lot.
And I've gotten used to the time to kill.
Yeah.
As soon as you get used to it, it's not as frustrating as it is when, you come from a game that doesn't feel as fast as the time to kill in Warzone 1. And then on top of that, I thought I would hate the slower movement, but I sure as hell don't miss slide canceling.
Oh, God. Absolutely not.
And when you're on the game for a couple hours, like when you're starting to run slow and you got somewhere far to go, it is kind of annoying. But overall, I have just been blown away with how much I love Warzone 2 and how good it actually feels to play Call of Duty again.
That's great to hear.
And I think you need to tip the cap.
Yeah, I mean, I had played it a bit early with COD Next, and like, I don't know, I left Call of Duty Next not nearly as excited as I'd hoped to be. But then when the game released, I was like, oh, this is in a way better state. So I agree with a lot of your sentiments, and honestly, I think I would be grinding it every day still if I just didn't have that big break with going home for Thanksgiving, wanted to spend a lot of time with family. Then I got back, was sick, and then now the new Fortnite chapters come out. But I love how much you've been playing it and enjoying it. I mean, you can tell how much you're loving it. And I wouldn't look. The moment you get any context on your clip that went crazy, it's like it all makes sense. Like on the nuke opportunity, 9 hours in, you're gonna be. I'm glad the clip was only that because I would have been saying even worse.
Yeah, it was tough. I was annoyed that people thought I was backtracking with my tweets, but I'm like, listen, when you get older. And I've been in front of the public for a long time, and I say this a lot. Drama feeds the machine.
Yeah. If
you want to grow exponentially, if you're already in a place of recognition, drama is the fastest way to grow, even bigger than you could have on your own accord over the next couple of years. It fast tracks everything. But I just need peace of mind when I laid my head on my pillow at night. And I just didn't like the way when I rewatched it, I didn't like what I saw in myself because half the reason why I stopped playing Call of Duty competitively is because I didn't like the way it made me feel and the person it turned me into. Just not having control over my anger and frustration and how I communicated with my teammates. Like I did not like being in that mental headspace. And so I just didn't like the clip. I wasn't backtracking. I still agree with everything that I said.
Yep.
But for my peace of mind, like I just want to make sure the friends that I have at Activision and now getting a look under the hood of scaling a business and how long it actually takes to make changes in an organization. And I can't even imagine the complexity behind something at Activision. And even some of the executives, like you can sit here and get mad at the execs all day. And again, I'm not defending anybody, but a lot of times you might be at the helm, but at this point, Activision is so big, some people are there just as placeholder. They can't really even do all that much. I don't know. It's a weird dichotomy. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but
I will say I agree with so much of your sentiment. I think from my end, my only thing is the developers there are so talented, and same with Treyarch are just phenomenal developers. But this has been, I think, a bit of a downfall for Treyarch in the past couple of releases that they've had to deal with, is that they kind of are the glue that, or the fixer uppers for a lot of different things. Like even right now, they're working on ranked play for for this game. They did it for Vanguard. They were helping Vanguard zombies. So like, you're taking the brilliant minds of Treyarch, and instead of just letting them make this perfect baby, they're having to split off and do so many different, wear so many different hats. And I think that's a big reason why Black Ops 4 wasn't as polished as it could have been. The last time we really saw Treyarch get to flex a muscle, in my opinion, was Black Ops 3, which to me is one of the most complete and overall best feeling Call of Duty games in history. It might not be the favorite play style, but for what it offered and how polished it was, and the rewards and the theater mode and everything that it had top to bottom, even down to Ban and Protect, might not have been the most exciting to watch, but they really did flush out a whole new mode and experience for the comp side. That my only thing that frustrates me a bit is that I know how talented these developers are, but there's so much that is being offered, especially released in a 2-week window, that I would just rather some of the I would rather DMZ mode get all the love it deserves and release it at the end of year 1 of the 2-year cycle, and really give DMZ a full year of that polish, and instead of building all that out, perfect Warzone 2 on its release.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I honestly, as shitty as it might sound, I've always sort of hoped that there would be a string of years where Call of Duty just flops, just fails. Because I think if they really recentered themselves and refocused and compartmentalized like their intention, they would come out the other end with one of the best products if they did it right and executed properly. One of the best games you'll ever play. There's a reason why people are still playing Call of Duty. I mean, to this day,
it's been the biggest release,
especially for consoles. It's the smoothest, the best fluidity, best camera control. Everything about the game is just like nobody's been able to capture that magic.
Look how big Call of Duty is, that even now with this acquisition that Microsoft is going for with Activision Blizzard, that like all PlayStation's talking about is Call of Duty.
Yeah,
like, it's that big of a game.
And FTC just blocked it.
Yeah. It's like, no, we can't let that happen.
But to the rank play point, I completely agree with you about Treyarch. Like, they have to split their time, and maybe they're being forced to do things that they might not necessarily agree with. I don't know the entire story and the politics that are probably involved, but I'm just tired of hearing that side of the argument with Treyarch completely eliminated from this equation. It's like, what the fuck are we still working on? What do you mean? Oh, they've been spending the last year trying to help them bring rank play back to Call of Duty. Like, this is something that you should only have to do once and do it right. Yeah. Spend 2-3 years making a comprehensive rank play system that can be universally integrated to every Call of Duty, no matter the studio, what year it is.
Yep.
It should not be that difficult. And I'm not marginalizing like the body of work that it probably takes to get something to that point, but
I mean, it would just I don't think there's a world where you can look at the success of Valorant and see what ranked can do for even just down to the competitive, to game changers, to how much people are into it, to like it's just so crazy how it's right there and would help with the longevity of it all. And we could talk about this all day, and we've done it many times on the show, but it's just imagine what people are celebrating the CDL right now with how well it started.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, what a great start for the Call of Duty League in regards to viewership and hype for this year. I love what I'm seeing, and I love that they brought the start of the season up sooner. But from where it could be, oh man, dude, imagine if the game launched with an awesome rank mode and how many more people would be interested. And the numbers are cool, but people got to realize how big this thing is.
It's funny. I think I can sit here and talk about like the back end behind closed doors aspects of Call of Duty every episode. I know we're probably repeating ourselves in previous from this year, but I really do love the conversation. And it's tough to probably discern emotion from passion sometimes because, they're so easily intertwined and always probably intertwined. But the fact that Call of Duty still has people like us and the entire community really, you only will talk shit about something for the most part if you actually care about it.
Oh.
And so the game just has just an unbelievable following. And when I was talking about I hope it would fail, because I really do think if they were to go bare bones back to basics and change the entire interaction and engagement with how you consume Call of Duty and had rank play and competitive systems as the first class experience, when you log on to the game, you're pushed to ranked. And if you want to go play unrated, go play unrated. But we're going to damn sure with our menu system and the UI going to direct you to rank play. I think the game would be even bigger than it is. But at the same time, it's the last thing I'll say. I think we might be fucking wrong about that too. Because, I mean, look at what they did with Call of Duty this year. Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2. They have removed pretty much any way that you could have an advantage over somebody else.
Yeah.
Besides taking the right positioning or having the right loadout for Warzone. But the slide canceling, dead silence really doesn't work all that well in multiplayer. You know, I feel like everybody's walking around in bubble wrap, just making the game easier for everybody.
Yeah.
But look at the success. You know what I mean? So, like, do we really know what the fuck we're talking about? I don't know.
I think my last thing I'll say on this is I would love to see what the community would say if they took everything that was being released in Season 1 and instead of having developed on that, they just said this whole season is just going to be polishing and just making the game the perfect state. Like, they're releasing raids in 4 days. You know, we've got like all just the other Season 1 stuff that's gone on. I would love so much if when this released, all that was focused on was just making it as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
Like, just making it as perfect as possible, removing the headaches, being fast on the feet of, like, fixing those things. You know, it just got released, which I know some people are upset about, that combat records are coming to COD. I think that's something that everyone expects.
I just realized that we don't have that right now.
Not only are they're coming for this update, cool, it's coming for Season 1 Reloaded, but it also just got announced that it's not going to track any of the stats you've had so far. It's only from when it gets added. So anything you've achieved to this point.
Ah, brother.
And it's just like, those are the details I'm talking about, where I just say, like, I'm not just bitching about everything. I just think that the game is there. It's all right there, but everything just feels 80% instead of, I would rather everything feel 100% and release it when it's like just like get it there, you know? And that's my thing. That's just where I'm at with that. Is the game's great. I'm loving it. I'm loving how much people are loving it. I'm very interested to see how it continues to do. Warzone 2 videos are really performing poorly across the board on YouTube, which I find really interesting.
They are.
I've talked to a lot of Warzone creators, and a lot of them are almost flabbergasted. And honestly, I'm shifting all my content from being really heavily focused on Warzone 2 to basically pre-planning for Fortnite Creative 2.0. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Well, you know what's...
Live streams are doing well, though.
Yeah, live streams are doing well. I mean, I'm making it my goal when we get back from this weekend in Vegas for the Game Awards or Esports Awards. I was out for like 2.5 weeks in November, and I was still in like the top 15 most watched streamers on Twitch for Warzone, and I really want to be top 5 for December. So I'm going to be grinding, but I think it's what's impacted Warzone 2, and we're going to end the episode here in about 5 minutes because I gotta run. But I genuinely believe the way that people are interacting with videos on YouTube, especially for Call of Duty, is just changed so significantly because of social media and TikTok more specifically. You know, a lot of success that I saw people like Swag have, and you know this better than I do, especially on YouTube because I haven't been in the mix. But a lot of videos are, you know, we're always clickbaited around like this class setup is absolutely crazy. Gate breaks the game, yada, yada, yada. And now everybody is just tweeting their tuning, doing a quick TikTok, and that's really all you need. And then you're jumping back in and playing with this class that took you 15 seconds to watch. And so, I don't know. I think it's got to be more of a comedic approach to Warzone 2 instead of like a objective, like, I'm going to help you get better approach.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think also back then, the viewership on Warzone videos was also a bit more encapsulated, and, you know, it's come back a bit with Warzone 2, but back then it was the true global phenomenon of the start of the pandemic. And like, even now when you see videos of like nostalgia for Warzone 1 and Verdansk, it's like, I would do anything to go back when I had no responsibilities in this. And I think that while Warzone is crushing, I experienced this firsthand with Fortnite, the feeling of a game going from a global phenomenon that everyone's focused on to the game peeling back to more of the dedicated players. And I do think that even now with Warzone 2, even just a month in or whatever it is, we're already starting to see the game shift a bit more towards just the dedicated players are left, and the global phenomenon side is not as impactful as it was with Warzone 1's release, which is what brought everyone back to Call of Duty for the first time. But people kind of need to remember where
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
The sentiment with Call of Duty was prior to Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone 1. Like, Call of Duty was kind of in that weird spot of we were just getting through the fast-paced games. It was Call of Duty World War II. No one was hyped about that. And Modern Warfare coming back was like the Hail Mary, and then Warzone coming spiked Call of Duty to higher stages than it had been since Modern Warfare 2, the OG.
Fuck, man.
And maybe Black Ops 3 Zombies when they were doing Easter eggs.
I really didn't want to spend this entire episode like getting into a video game
but that's
rabbit hole, but I've actually really enjoyed it.
But I think when we cycle back, I don't know we're going to end here. It's just like...
Hold on, last thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the LA Thieves skin got nerfed today?
I did, bro. Tough.
Bro.
Tough.
Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you could say, but I think from your reaction right there, it shows that was not a decision we made.
Man.
just to clear that up.
Again, it sucks too, because I feel like maybe I'm too empathetic nowadays, because I've seen how hard it is to like operate a business and make decisions at a mass scale that we're going to impact not only employees, but the people that play the game or interact with our community or watch our teams or buy our apparel, whatever. And so I understand why they added the red accents. Like it makes sense to me, because the skin actually was broken. And for what it's worth, like we've been able to meme it, but I can't remember if we talked about it, but I don't think the intention was actually to be like Rose 3.0 or 2.0, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I agree with the changes if I'm a player that had just died to an LA Thieves skin. But at the same time, I really wish after all of the rounds of feedback and meetings and email threads,
didn't get to that point,
that it should have got caught first. You know what I mean? Because now we have people frustrated with us, like, hey, why is this skin nerfed? I paid my hard-earned money for it.
Yeah.
This is not why I bought it. So we've got some ideas on how to make good with the community, something that I'm pretty excited about, but we'll see when that comes to fruition. It might take a little bit of time, but we got some cool ideas. But I get it.
Last thing I'll say, your Warzone stream this month, you should do nuke a day for 30 days, and every time it hits, there's like a giveaway with it, so your chat's excited, and you see and there's like a running timer each day, so you have to like beat it by the time limit. I think that would do really well, and that would help with the...
I actually think it's a great idea, but the problem is the last 2 times where we went on nuke runs, we got all 4 contracts, and all 4 times we weren't able to get a nuke.
So what you're saying is it's too good of a challenge for you. Damn, bro. Whatever. No, that's fine. I didn't think Nadeshot would back down.
Well, you know what I'm going to do over the break, I think? I got to still clear it with Haley.
Cheats.
No, if you use a Cronus or wall or do anything to take advantage of systems in Call of Duty, you are a certified dork. Like,
Symphony.
I still can't believe people cheat in video games. I'm going to do a subathon. And so every time a case of Juvee is purchased, it'll add 5 minutes to the subathon. So we can integrate the nukes with it.
Do you have like Juvee? Like I would easily run like Juvee purchase alerts during a stream.
You would?
I'm just saying, like, that would be a thing to do.
Well, I don't even want to get into it, because I've had a lot of ideas on how to integrate Juvee into my stream, but we've been a little too slow, in my opinion, of getting me those assets.
We're gonna get to work on that right now, guys. That's why I have to end the podcast. Thank you for watching the episode of the CouRage Nadeshot Show. Listen, do us a favor. If you guys want more episodes like this next year,
I feel like there's a million things we could have talked about, and we didn't even get to do it.
Well,
we got to do more episodes like this. I had a ton of fun.
This was great, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. CouRage Nadeshot Show 2023 is gonna be more consistent than 2022 by far. Keep an eye out. We're coming back with a vengeance, and God damn it, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you're gonna be on the show next year.